It is the earthquaking, pillars shaking, podcast listening, leader of the Meat Pop Express, Big Trouble Ben Bishop. And get ready, folks, because you are tuned in to the fastest growing professional wrestling podcast in the world, the 3 Count Podcast.
Hit him with a 3 count. Pin him to the ground and the crowd go wild, man down, know what y'all like. Hit him with a 3 count. On the top row, crowd already know how I fly him to the flow like. Hit him with a 3 count.
What's going on? It is the Air Force veteran intel specialist, the one they call Red Dog, and the host of today's 3 Count Podcast debate show. So welcome, and let's go have some fun. We're going to go down the roster right now. Introducing first, he is the man who's killed more bears than there are in captivities currently. He goes to Russia every once in a while and just destroys them and then challenges Putin to an arm wrestling contest, which Putin, we know you have not accepted yet. Give it up for the man himself, the Swole Master, Chris Idol.
Always happy to be here.
Hey. Next up, he is the man. He's been my best friend since 1997. If you guys don't know, now you know, players. So give it up for the man who's drinking all the milk because he thinks he's Kurt Angle, but he's more like Kurt Angle light. Give it up for that man. He is the franchise of the 3 Count Podcast, Lou the Franchise.
What up? I don't have a fro, so I don't have a fucking line, so I'm not going to take JJ's this week. I'm sorry, buddy. I love you.
All right, well, that's something that's kind of new and unique.
Murder everything.
Stop it right now. Give it up for the last person on here. He is the man. He is the college boy. The one that rocks with all the drip. He's the Q master. Some people call him Joshua. Some call him Napster. But of course, he is here on this show from Millersville, North Kakalaka. Give it up for Drippin' JJ.
Drip driving, got the club vibing, thanking the sidewalks for keeping me off the streets, chitty banging, I'm studying every day in.
I can't with you right now. Not at all. and then you dab at the end? That's been dead for like 2 years now, man.
Is that epilepsy?
Yeah. I'm gonna need someone in the chat to go ahead and just call the ambulance. We need to make sure that JJ's not having a stroke, as his right arm and left arm are just like twigging out. We just want to make sure. So let's go down and let's figure out what's happening today. First off, let's get on some announcements that are going on. If you guys don't know, April 3rd will be our greatest tag team of all time tournament. We do have a few guests that are going to be joining us. It'll be 4 of us plus 3 other guests. So you're going to see us debate the whole tournament in one go. It's probably going to be like 4 hours long. I'm not even going to lie. Sorry, y'all, but it is what it is. Next up on the list, if you guys don't know, you guys can go to our website, 3countpodcast.com, or you can even just jump on our link tree at linktree.com and follow all of us at everything that we have up here above. So you can see, like, we have the podcast, we have the YouTube channel, we also have Twitter, we have everything up, we have everything on TikTok. You guys can check us out. Just follow us, talk to us about what you want to talk about. And last but not least, we have 2 things that are happening big time. So number one, Now Entering the Ring did put out a video that we will be returning April 1st with the man himself, Storm Thomas. It is a calm before the storm, and you can find out what questions I have to ask him because, you know, he's very experienced, and it was very cool to get a detailed analysis on the world of wrestling. Lou, let us know, man. We still on hiatus? What's up?
We are not going to be on hiatus no more. Come April, I am going to come back full time. I think April 7th will be our first returning to the ring back. After coping with everything that the doctor said and knowing about my health, my physicalness, my physical well-being, put my 2 weeks in at my job to start a new job. So hopefully this is a brighter day. I think we're going to have time to do a podcast.
Lou said, fuck him. I'm going to put in my 2 weeks. I don't got time for this. It's like weird. It's like a booking company or something. Whatever. Anyway, let's hop through this, man. So we're going to start this off right, and we're going to start this in the right way with the Wednesday Night Rundown. In Chaz's words, by the way, if you guys are wondering where Chaz is, Chaz did quit. Like, he's just not here.
We got a new host, a better host.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Not at all. Don't do that.
The show is now equally balanced.
This show's equally.
One last black man gives it the equal balance.
It's weird too to look like the two guys that are Latin or wore up in the 3 Count Podcast shirts, and then there's you guys. So let's get into the Wednesday night rundown, man. It was an interesting show, both shows actually. So NXT coming in with 678,000 or 0.14 in the 18 to 49 demographics, where in AEW 757,000 fans were watching, our viewers, with a 3.0 or a 0.30 in the demographics. So let's get it open and honest, man. So we're gonna start this off. Chris, I kind of already know what you're gonna be like.
With JJ, we already know.
So let's go around. JJ, what did you think, man? What was your show? No one can hear you because your microphone's muted.
Thank God your mic is off.
So I didn't get a chance to watch AEW at all. I've been busy with school, but I was able to watch NXT. So I really enjoyed what NXT was doing. So I'm gonna pick NXT by default just because I didn't watch AEW this week. So that's gonna be my thoughts on that.
That's fair. Lou, what about you?
I watched both shows, and I thought AEW had the better show this week.
Okay.
You can't even do that, Josh. Over the last few weeks, I have said NXT has been putting out better content.
Wow, we are already starting this. This is already happening. So I'm going to be honest. For us, 75% of the people on this show is going to say NXT, because for myself, NXT was the better show. Like, I thought I had better matches. Plus, I'm not going to lie, I was hyped to see Walter, even if it wasn't a squash match against, Drake Maverick. So
that's what that was the turnoff of the fucking show is how much of a squash match that was.
No, that's exactly what's supposed to happen.
Do not do that to Rockstar Spud. Do not do that.
That's not Rockstar Spud.
I know they don't do that. You're not used to that on the other channel. On the other channel, Walter and Spud, they would have went like 25 minutes.
Yeah, and it had been way more entertaining.
No. That match was exactly the way it should be. Walter should just yoke him up, slam him as hard as possible, pin, and get the hell out of there. Like it would happen on the streets.
By the way, guys, I forgot to mention too that if you guys want to pick up our merch, 3 Count Podcast shirts, you can see myself and Lou. Plus, we also have the OG shirts. You guys can pick those up at prowrestlingtees.com/3 Count Pod. So make sure to grab those.
You can also get the Red Dog's new shirts that are conveniently placed behind him at.
Yeah, so you can find this shirt with me. So if you guys just hit me in the DMs, you can grab that shirt. And then if you want to grab this shirt, you guys can also pick that up at whatamaneuver.net/the Red Dog.
I love it, Chris. That was hilarious.
I was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna leave it up here. Someone's gonna ask about it.
Amanda loves your new sign language too, by the way.
Oh, bad. Cool. So yeah, but back to it, man. It's like if that match would have been on AEW, right, with Walter and let's even just throw Marco Stunt out there, right? Like it wouldn't have made sense. It wouldn't have made sense that Marco Stunt was able to keep up with Walter, like at all.
Speed
so why would Rockstar Spud? What?
Speed kills.
Walter's chops kill and his power bomb. That's what he does.
Yeah.
Knock it off, Hunter.
Whatever.
Knock it off.
That's definitely what was supposed to happen. I'm glad it did. All right. But enough with the Wednesday night rundowns because we didn't care because NXT had a better show, even though AEW clearly had more viewers. Yeah, it seems it's that way. It doesn't matter. Fans are what fans are. Fans are what Daniel Bryan says they are. Fickle. All right. Let's get into our first debate topic, right? So it's been known that WWE sold the WWE network to NBC and the Peacock network. So she said signage, by the way, not sign language. That's why Luke can't read.
I have a GED, Amanda. Leave me alone. I can't read.
For those who don't know,
I thought sign language was weird because I was like, I don't remember Cliff doing any sort of hand motion, but I was just like, whatever, maybe it's an inside joke of some kind. But that's hilarious that Anthony misread the comment.
I have a GED. Leave my reading alone.
You guys don't know what GED stands for?
Shoot. I don't have to read to shoot.
If you guys don't know what GED stands for, it stands for good enough degree. So
hey, that's why Aaron likes me, because I'm good enough.
Just barely clear that bar. That's why we brought you on the show, because you just barely know enough to be allowed on the show. So let's get into this debate topic, right? So the WWE Network did sell, WWE sold the WWE Network to Peacock, NBC's streaming service. But what's been going on is that they've been meticulously searching through all 17,000 hours of WWE content to see if it fits with the Peacock brand. So the debate topic today is, should the Peacock censor old WWE content? And the way we're going to go about this is we're going to go Idol, Lou, and then we're going to go to JJ, and then I'll wrap up.
Why does the black man always go first? This is stupid. I'm playing Chris.
Because you guys came to our land first and took us away. Anyway. I'm going to say, all right, so I'm kind of on the fence about this. So I feel like certain things should absolutely just be expunged and gotten rid of. Certain things. But, and I mean like the most extreme cases of offense. Like the two examples that we read about that they got rid of, I was like, okay, I understand why they got rid of them, and let's be real, no one's gonna miss those two things. They didn't get rid of Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker. Let's be real. They got rid of Roddy Piper versus Bad News Brown, which I don't even remember. I'm not even sure if I've seen that whole match, in all like honesty. And the Mr. McMahon John Cena segment on Survivor Series, when Mr. McMahon said the N-word, like nobody, like no one's gonna miss that. Now, in other instances, I do think they should leave them, but there should be a disclaimer that airs, kind of like on the network when you would watch something from ECW. They put a disclaimer up that would tell you, hey, this is rated M. This is what you're going to see if you watch this video. I feel like there should be that. Because if we get too deep into the censoring of WWE history, shit, like everything from before 2007,
right?
The whole Attitude Era, you can't put it on there if we're going to go super deep in the weeds with it. So I think in the most extreme cases, yeah, you can get rid of some stuff, but just put a disclaimer and make sure people know up front, like, hey, this is what's here. We're not saying we condone it now, but at the time that this aired, it was what it was, or something like that, something to that effect.
I agree. I like that. I like that. Lou, what about you?
I'm Peacock right now, hiding shit like this.
I was like, I can't tell whether that's your finger or if you're trying to actually flash the camera. So I'm just like,
no, I don't think, I get you have company morals and things, but the WWE Attitude Era kept WWE alive. Should they bleep a lot of things out? I don't believe in it. I don't, because I'm very frontal with what was made, what was good, and that shit was good.
Oh, okay. JJ,
should they censor stuff? Absolutely not.
Thank you, my dude.
if we're being honest here, it's if we shouldn't censor it, but what we should do is just put a disclaimer, because we have to realize different periods of time, some stuff that was acceptable then isn't acceptable now. Like, for example, 200 years ago, slavery was considered acceptable. Now it's not considered acceptable. You know what I mean? I just think that what you should do is just put a disclaimer, and that way you avoid the PR nightmare. Because if we're being honest, like Idol said, whenever WWE went PG, we gotta get rid of everything, because there is girls taking attitude adjustments by men, getting beat up by men, you know what I mean? That can be considered domestic violence. Well, not, yeah, but domestic violence. So do we have to get rid of all that too? Shoot, whip for the women. Oh my God, like, you know, the bra and panties matches. Do we got to get rid of all that? Honestly, that means we got to get rid of everything.
I guess, yeah. The whole attitude there. They powerbombed Mae Young off a stage through tables. An 80-year-old woman.
That old woman deserved it.
She didn't, Anthony. Like,
okay. Let me get JJ, you up with your point?
Yeah, I just think that we shouldn't censor. We should just put disclaimers. I don't think we should censor, because I think what we should is like look at where we were now and look how better we've become now. Look at us then and look how we become better now. I think that's what I'm trying to get.
Yeah, I like that. Then, now, forever. WWE. You definitely fit right in with that slogan. Hey, so here's what I think, right? So the two big examples that we got, yes, were definitely should have been kind of just removed off the network. Roddy Piper definitely being one of those, and then obviously Vince. I hope to see that Booker's promo like gets cut too, because like, let's be real, WCW, that was a thing.
So that was already censored on the network.
Okay.
Wait. They cut the audio. Like the promo's still there.
Yeah.
But he just says, Hulk Hogan, we're coming for you, and then like the audio, like they cut his audio and like piped up the crowd noise that was in the background. So the promo's still there, but you don't he doesn't say the word.
But they still let Vince say it?
Now, I can't speak to that, because like I said, that's not a segment that people just actively seek out and say, oh, I want to go see it. So
I kind of want to now.
I think it may not have been on there. I can't say if that was on the network. Now I know the Booker T one was, because I watched that pay-per-view.
Right.
When I was going back watching like old WCW stuff, because I just watch stuff that I didn't get to see as a kid. I was just going back and watching it. And I was like, oh crap, this is this pay-per-view. And then I noticed that. So that's how I know about that. Now the Mr. McMahon segment, I don't know if that was on the network. But like I said, no one's missing that. Like if they got rid of that, like I think most of these super extreme stuff that Peacock would get rid of is not stuff we're gonna miss. Like they're probably gonna get rid of the whole Katie Vick storyline. Are we gonna throw a fit because we don't get to see Triple H accuse Kane of being a necrophiliac?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm just curious though, because like, you know, like other things that I was thinking about too was like Trish when Vince was like, bark like a dog. Like, I wonder if that's gonna cut. I'm curious because I want to know how far WWE or NBC has gotten to WWE content. Cause like I saw a meme about it and I was like, just imagine being that intern and finding out that Mae Young gave birth to a hand.
Right. So like I think
yes.
I think it's gonna be like extreme cases. Like we're talking about blackface and the N-word, that a segment with the N-word that would. So that's why I'm thinking it's gonna be like extreme cases like that just flat out get removed. Other stuff, they might censor it, maybe. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't think they're gonna like go so far as like the memes say and like blur the middle finger.
I don't know, man. I don't know
Because
because
I'm trying to think of stuff that we would see like today on television. Like maybe like I don't know. Like I said, it's a weird thing. It's almost like you have to assess it on a case by case basis.
yeah, definitely. And I think what it is for me too is that
the Mae Young thing, like you said, Cliff, they presented that in a comical fashion. Like we weren't supposed to take it seriously. So like that's a little different than like, I don't know, like what. That's a different story than when when Lita had a miscarriage because of Gene Snitsky. You know what I mean?
Wanted the baby.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait.
you almost have to deem it as like, it's got to be case by case. Like, we're probably not gonna see the DX spoofing the Nation because X-Pac was in black. We're probably not gonna see that segment on Peacock.
Okay.
I bet, you know what? I bet that slips through the crack, and then somebody watches our show and then goes back and like, oh shit, that was something that happened.
So
like,
we have a listener and a watcher that's active, and she said, let's not forget that she didn't have Peacock till they got an Xfinity. Who is paying for Peacock? It's old shit to begin with, and she wants to know if any of us have been on Peacock yet.
I watched the new episodes of Saved by the Bell. Actually, I like those a lot.
Yeah, I've been playing around with Peacock, like just checking out some shows because I don't watch a lot of TV. Like other than wrestling, I don't watch a lot of TV. So there were some shows that I was told about that I just never got around to checking out. Like right now, I'm watching the show Superstore. I heard a few people tell me it was a really good show, so I've been watching that on Peacock, and I like it. I mean, it's a dope app. There are things on here that I would watch other than wrestling.
Right.
So I'm personally going to get more of my money. I'm going to get my money's worth out of using the service. There's a bunch of stuff that I would watch outside of wrestling that's on here. So I think it's cool. I like it.
And even at that, though, I mean, if you're watching wrestling, though, you're still getting close to 17,000 hours worth of wrestling stuff. So it's not like if you're watching primarily for wrestling, you're paying half the cost of what it was for the WWE Network, and you're still getting a lot of content for it. So it's not a bad deal to look at.
And Amanda said that Peacock has Saturday Night Live, and we are saying that they need a censor.
Yeah, it's funny because
I didn't watch all of the, I don't, like I said, like we're speculating. We don't know how deep the censoring is going to be or going to get. They might just remove those extreme instances and put up disclaimers for everything else. Like we don't know.
I'm just wondering. I'm wondering if this kid. Okay. So aside from on Peacock side, not even worried about on because I don't know and I have to go back and find out. But there was an episode of Saturday Night Live where Richard Pryor and Chevy Chase were going back and forth about a job, and Chevy Chase dropped the N-bomb right there. And I remember this episode distinctly because Richard Pryor was like, as soon as it was said, he's like, dead honky. And like, I was like, yo, it was a great bit. But then like eventually like Chevy Chase ends up like hiring Richard Pryor as like the highest paid janitor of any company ever. So it's one of those things I'm curious to see if like that gets on there, because if that's on there, then obviously we'll see like how relaxed the Peacock Network gets, because I don't think it's on Hulu, and I know there was reasons for it, but I don't know. It is what
see, that skit probably isn't on there because if I'm not mistaken, I believe Chevy Chase is actually banned from hosting SNL.
Yeah.
He's on like the do not return list because of that skit, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably. A lot of people get put on that list though for dumb reasons. So I don't know. I'm not saying that reason's dumb. That's not what I'm saying.
All right, Derek Keith, you got your
I'm just
ready?
saying that a lot of people get put on the do not return list because like there was a one girl, they had the Frick skit. I don't know if you remember that, where I forget who someone threw an ashtray, and she threw the ashtray, and she was just like, "You threw it at me? You freaking stood up for yourself, and I fucking love you." And she was like, "Oh," and then they banned her because she cost them money, and then they kicked her off the show, and then they banned her. I was like, "Damn, that's crazy." So,
Michaels
is crazy though.
You know what? I guess we're going to have to think of some of the most offensive things we've seen on television and actively go search and see if things are on Peacock.
At this point, people are so sensitive. All the suck it motions, every time they say suck it, they're going to have to fucking start bleeping out.
Nah, I don't think that. It's not even that extreme, especially with wrestling fans. But I do agree with the X-Pac skit. Like, I definitely want to see if, like, that's actively there or not.
Yeah.
Because that's definitely one. So we're going to move on. We're going to jump into debate topic number 2, which, let's be real. Let's get into this, right? So who had a better year? Roman Reigns or Kenny Omega?
Sorry.
So, well, I kind of already
thinking about Roman Reigns having a good year or something when you did that, man?
I know how this conversation is probably already going to go, but let's wrap it around. So, let's go. Lou, JJ, Idol, and then of course I'll wrap up.
Who had a better year? The cleaner or the head of the table? One's a white guy, one's a black guy. No, I'm just
that
kidding.
Is so far.
That is so far off.
No, I seriously think Roman Reigns had a better year, honestly. I mean, come back from leukemia, and the whole COVID thing kept him away. Came back, destroyed the Fiend and Braun, took the title. Has it like it's a fire story with the whole head of the table thing. So I'd give it to Roman. I think he's had a better year.
JJ.
This is not up for debate. Roman had a better year. And if you think that Kenny did, I think you're on more weed than Wiz Khalifa and Snoop Dogg combined.
Must be Chaz.
Wow.
Chaz even on the show. Chaz quit. I can't believe you're going to be out there dropping his name. Like you're going to have him run back in here or something.
Yeah. I'm going to agree with I'm agree with both guys. For their one simple reason, like take away like my hate of Kenny Omega. I feel like if you judge them based on the respective 2-hour shows that they are participants in, Roman is the highlight of SmackDown. I don't feel like Kenny is the highlight of Dynamite. I feel like it's always someone else. That's the highlight. Now that might change from like week to week as to who's the highlight. Like one week it might be Britt Baker, then the next week it might be Rey Fenix or somebody like that. But I don't feel like it's ever like Kenny was the highlight of the week. Whereas Roman, it's very rare that there's something on the show that's a highlight that he's not a part of.
Anytime Bianca Belair is on the show, it's better than Roman.
You are a liar. I love Bianca Belair, and you are a liar.
All right. So I'm going to be the one who's different in here in saying that Kenny actually has had a better year than Roman. And here's why. So we're only going based on time, right? And that's kind of like my big differ is because remember for like 4 months, like Roman wasn't even a talking point. He left because obviously like, COVID being an outbreak and he wanted to take care of his family. By all means, that's great. But in that time span, like Kenny was like holding down AEW. And I do understand your point about like everybody like was doing their thing, right? Like that they're highlighting different wrestlers. But when you watch the show and you saw Kenny Omega show up, like think about the greatest matches that we've talked about so far in AEW, right? So a great tag team match in FTR versus Kenny Omega and Adam Hangman Page, right? Kenny was the talking point. We talked about the first time that Kenny, like when Kenny really turned heel, like he had a great match in that. His next great match, he had a great match with Moxley. We've talked about his matchups with Rich Swann over at Impact, and we've talked about his matches that he's had with the Good Brothers, teaming up with them. And we're also forgetting the fact that this man also, and in terms of championships, still holds the AAA championship. Like he still has that title, and he had a great match at AAA. Let's be real. And we talk about Kenny like Kenny's some trash, but we are always talking about Kenny, like for some reason. And as much shit as it's
that make me talk about Kenny.
But here, I do get that. But my other part though is that like when Roman came back, right? By means, Roman lit the world on fire. But if I have to look at it in a time span, I was like, Roman was gone for like 4 months. And plus, let's be real, like at the beginning of January last year, we were like dogging the shit out of him. Talk about, oh, so he had that great match at Royal Rumble and then was gone. And that was it. Like that was all that was there. And so I can't overlook what Roman was doing at the beginning of January to the end of February and then be like, oh yeah, but he had this great 4 months from like August till December and try to sell me on that side. Like I can't do it. So for me, as far as like quality stuff, like maybe if you would have said the last 6 months, I would definitely have to agree that Roman is had a better year. Or the better 6 months, but for the whole entire year, no. I'm gonna go with Kenny Omega over Roman.
I always forget that he wasn't there for a good portion of.
You know why? Because Roman was so amazing as the head of the table, he made you forget he was gone for so long.
Hey, go like this real quick, Justin.
So Cliff reminded me.
Hey, Justin, go like this real quick.
I'm just saying. Like that, I was proving Cliff. Like I forgot Roman was gone. Like I'm not saying Cliff is wrong. Yeah, I mean he is right. Like he's got a good point. But I did forget.
Wait, what?
Right. I didn't say I agree. I just said he has a good point.
I want you to say it, Justin.
He said I was right. That's all I need to hear.
I want you to say it.
Right.
Cliff is right, which means Kenny had the better.
That does not mean that.
I mean, hey, listen, okay. The three of y'all picked Roman, and you're entitled to your wrong opinion, okay?
Well,
I'm just putting out there.
I only picked Roman because I didn't want to offend our black friends.
But the black friend that you would offend is not on the show because he quit.
I always got to remember that.
Roman had the better year. End of story.
You're
Roman had the better end of 4 months. That's it. That's all you can throw out there. 2/3 of the year, Kenny Omega was holding it down. 1/3 of the year, there was Roman.
1/3 of the year is 4 times as good as what Kenny's 2/3 of the year was.
But I still feel like even in that time frame where Roman was gone and Kenny was there, Kenny still wasn't the highlight of the show.
I feel like whenever Kenny showed up, we were like, maybe not all of us, because obviously like you guys have your strong like.
Y'all don't watch the shit.
I was locked into Kenny matches.
No. During this period of time that Cliff is talking about, I was watching the show.
No, you were not.
Yes, I was. Oh no, hey.
Ever since I've been on the show.
When did I swear off of the show?
Since I've been on the show since probably July or August, and ever since I've been on this show, you've always been, I hate AEW because they made me pay money for shit.
That's a lie. I have never paid money for AEW show. They have never.
I hate the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega.
Well, okay, and there's like, okay, I'm glad he said that too. So what about the Kenny Omega, Adam Page versus the Young Bucks match that we talked about back in January? We were like, man, that was a great match. Like
I was like, it was great until Kenny kicked out at 1, and it really took for me. If you go back and review, I remember
you saying that.
I was getting into it. I was like, okay, all right.
And then he powered up.
And then, one kick out, and I was like, fuck it. Don't care.
I'm looking at it and I'm just like, man, there's like a lot of like things that Kenny did throughout the year, and I was like, man, like I really enjoyed it. Like he had like this nice baby facing, and then like he had the tag team situation going on, and then he turned out to be a douchebag and be a heel, and then he really made me hate him. And then the Good Brothers joined in, and Don Callis was there. And the crazy thing is Don Callis is Paul Heyman. Like maybe not as good on the mic as Paul, but they are essentially like that. They're the heaters.
Yeah, Don Callis is a shit stirrer.
Yes, very much.
He is a good shit stirrer. I like Don Callis. I like Don a lot.
Go to your brand and stir that shit. God damn it.
So now that we've all kind of had our different opinions based on everything, are we still rocking the same ones? Because I know I'm still going with Kenny.
I think I'm going Kenny too.
Of course,
I'm
you're
still
Kenny.
going to go with
Roman. Yeah, bark like a dog. Bark like a dog.
Hey, all right. First, let me
watch WWE.
Shut up. Let me get Idol and JJ's final opinions.
Okay.
You know what they're gonna be.
I'm still going to go with Roman, because I feel like Roman's 4 months had a bigger impact. That, like I said, it made you forget that he was gone for that period of time. But like, I'm not going to be mean and downplay and act like Kenny didn't do shit here either.
JJ will go.
So
We're waiting, JJ. Let's go.
Kenny did not have the better year.
Imagine that.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. And you know what? We want your guys' opinions, so you guys can write in the chat. Who did you think had a better year, Roman or Kenny? And if you guys are watching this post, tweet at us at the 3count pod, 3count_pod, and let us know who you thought had a better year, Kenny or Roman. We'd like to hear from you guys, and this would be a great way that you guys can join in the conversation with us. And then also, tell us why the other one's wrong. Let's get into our third and final debate topic, which I don't know. I feel like we're all going to be in agreement with this. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. So it was announced on SmackDown that on night 1 of WrestleMania, Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair will main event that night. At least that's how they sold it. So I'm going to believe that's the way it is. But do you guys think that Sasha and Bianca should main event? I'm going to let JJ, Lou, Idol, and then I'll finish up.
Hell yeah, they should. I think that if you win the Royal Rumble, you should main event. You know what I mean? That's how I personally think it should be. Well, we can always say, well, some Royal Rumbles they didn't main event. Well, because they were being stupid. But if you like, the Royal Rumble is supposed to be whoever wins get their shot at WrestleMania, and they should main event WrestleMania.
But traditionally, it's the men's that main event WrestleMania. WrestleMania is only supposed to be one night, not two.
Well, we're talking about now where there's 2 nights. And even then, let's say beforehand, when they, for like that little small simple size when only the men did main event, the women's were the women's people that won the women's Royal Rumble, weren't they the last match for the women on the card that night as well, though? I may be wrong.
I think they're the last women's match, but they weren't necessarily the last match.
Yeah. So yeah, I think yes, they should main event, and if not, then you guys are stupid idiots, because they should. If you win the Rumble, it makes the Rumble have more weight. If you main event, that's what I'm trying to say. It doesn't make the Rumble feel useless because it's already gimmicky.
Don't you talk shit about the Rumble. I promise you, JJ, I will come to Miller's, New York, and I will punch you right in the suck hole. We will not
let you disrespect the memory of Pat Patterson like that.
You can disrespect Pat Patterson's memory
I'm just saying that it's
like that, but do not disrespect the Rumble.
I'm not disrespecting it. I'm just calling it what it is. I like the Rumble.
That is my favorite time of the year. And when people spoil it, I legitimately want to fight them.
Yeah, the Royal Rumble is one of the best ways to build new stars. Besides the Money in the Bank, which we know they have been doing a terrible job for like 3 or 4 years.
That's not the debate topic. So do you like well, actually, I forgot who I'm talking to. Lou, give me your opinion, man. Sasha Banks, Bianca, should they be in an event?
Should Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks main event WrestleMania? Absolutely not, because Sasha Banks is hot fucking garbage. She shouldn't even be the fucking champion. And no, I'm just playing. No, actually,
I was like, I know that you couldn't even believe.
That's the reaction I wanted right there. No, I absolutely. It's a bigger story than what we think. You know what I mean? I mean, you have 2 black athletes, and not just men, but they're women that are fucking phenomenal right now. They're the fans behind them. Everything that we talk about is behind them. They should definitely be fucking main eventing WrestleMania. This is something historic. This is something that's bigger than any of us actually really realize. And I'm super fucking excited for it.
Okay. Idol.
All right. Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair, 2 of the most gifted people in the WWE. This is a big match, big moment. Should they? Absolutely, they should. If that goes on last night 1, I will not be mad. I will enjoy the hell out of it either way. However, I would feel a little guilty about them being the main event. Here's why. Bobby Lashley is our WWE champion right now. This man took the long journey. He equally deserves and should have that right to close out WrestleMania. And in order for Sasha and Bianca to close it out, Bobby Lashley can't. And who's to say that Bobby Lashley is going to get this chance to do it again? He's not like decrepit or old or anything, but things can change in a year. It's more likely that Sasha and Bianca will be here on that main event caliber a year from now than it is that Bobby Lashley will. Like, let's be real. Like, Bobby Lashley last year was losing to Aleister Black in like some meaningless match. Now he's the champ. He could easily go right back to that position. So I don't know. It's a really hard thing. I wouldn't be mad. I'd be totally on board. But it's like knowing that if they do, Bobby Lashley can't. It's like, damn. Because, you know, Bobby Lashley being in that spot is an equally big deal. The fact that he's champ heading into WrestleMania, closing the show. Because the only other black person to do that is The Rock. So
I want to stir this pot real quick for you, Justin.
Okay.
Let's say that Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair highlight match night 1.
Mm-hmm.
And you get the option to pick Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre on night 2, or Roman, or that triple threat match with Roman. Which one are you going to pick?
Okay, so you're saying that if Sasha and Bianca main event night 1, and I had the option to move the WWE Championship match to night 2?
Yeah. Would you pick that one, or would you keep the?
Okay. All right. I would be okay with that. Like, I like that scenario. And the reason being is because Edge, Roman, and Daniel Bryan have all gotten the chance to close out WrestleMania. They've all gotten that chance in a big way. Daniel Bryan got the big win at WrestleMania 30. Roman got a big win over Taker. Edge got to close the show with Taker. So they've all experienced that spot before. So I would be okay if that match didn't get to close in favor of Drew and Bobby, because we all know Drew got cheated out of his big moment last year in front of fans thanks to the pandemic. And Bobby Lashley more than deserves that spot. So I kind of wish it was that way, honestly. Actually, that'd be fucking dope.
Let's all start tweeting out to WWE and say, fucking Smith. Listen to 3 Count Podcast.
I'm gonna be honest. I'll be honest, right? So I think if you look at the storyline between Drew and Bobby, it's not nearly as hot as what the story is between Bianca and Sasha is. And I think that's why it should be main eventing on night one.
Hold on. But what is the story between Sasha and Bianca? There is no real story. They've all been fucking bickering. They've been bickering and fucking.
Well, remember, it started off with them being friends. It started off as that friendship angle, right? Like they were both like, "Oh, we respect each other," and then Bianca won, and it was like, "Oh, well, I respect you a lot," and then like they started losing, and then like the animosity started to build between Sasha and Bianca because they were losing in tag title matches. That, I mean, to be real, like I don't really know if they should have been losing, but I kind of liked it now that I look back at it. That now Sasha's like, no, I'm going to show you how veterans do it, which makes me believe that Bianca Belair is going to win on WrestleMania to be like the rookie sensation, like came through and won the big match at the big time over a veteran. So I think that's just what it is. That's the story. It was like the veteran trying to tell the rookie, like, hey, this is how things are going to be done. And then the rookie like trying to fight back and say, no, I'm that person and I'm going to do that thing. So that's where I see like the matchups.
Well, that is cool, but that rookie veteran kind of advice thing kind of just started. Like since the Rumble, they were bickering from like the Rumble until Fastlane. They were doing this weird thing with Reginald, where there really wasn't too much of a story.
No, but I think they're trying to find like that right lock, but it was something that Sasha had said where she's just like, she's like, I'll show you how things are, rookie. And like,
I mean, let's be real. Like, we're not going to remember the story like a year or two. We're going to be talking about the match, but
right.
I don't know if I'd say like their story, like the build up to the match, is better than the Drew and Lashley. But I wouldn't say it's worse because.
Oh, I wasn't gonna say that. I was just.
So I don't. Yeah. So I don't.
If I had to edge it, I would give the slight edge to Sasha and Bianca over Drew and Bobby, because it was like Drew had this match with Sheamus, and then Sheamus had a match with Bobby, and then like Bobby then was like, no, I want to face Drew. That's what we're gonna do. Blah 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 blah. Then what really irked me too, and this was something, is that Bobby was like, I'm not afraid of Drew McIntyre, and like they were like going face it, and then he went to the back and was just like, whoever takes out Drew first, I'll give him a shot at the title. I was like, why? That really just diminishes your character, because then that means it makes you look like you're afraid of Drew.
Oh, he's got to remind us that he's a heel. He is supposed to be the heel in the story.
Listen,
so he can't be too cool. He can't be too cool. He can be cool, but he can't be too cool.
Listen, I just want what Big E always talks about. 2 big, sweaty men slapping meat. That's all I want.
I know.
Get your 30-minute classics. I just want a 5-minute match of 2 men slapping meat. That's all I need in my life.
I know. Yeah, they got to remind us that Bobby's a heel. Like, sure, he could kill Drew by himself, but why do it by himself when he can get some minions?
I get it. I get the fact that you want to be like, I get that part. I don't know. Okay.
Yeah. Why not be a dick?
How you gonna feel when Drew takes the title from him?
Then 2 big men slapping meat. That's all I need. That's all I'm gonna talk about. But yeah, so that's that's cool. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I kind of like Sasha and Bianca's story personally myself, so I like watching the
it's I don't know. It's like this year in the WWE, it's like there's so many people that are just like worthy of like closing the show. Like really, like there's a few different directions where they could be like, all right, this is who's closing the show, and I don't think I'd be like up in arms with Fury. Maybe a little disappointed because you go, oh, but it's not. There's no match that would close that I would be like, oh, I can't believe this is closed.
Oh no, I would. If Randy and the Fiend is closing, I'm gonna be like,
hold on.
No. No.
I like it.
Let me.
I get to see Alexa Bliss. I like it.
Clear. Championship match.
Yeah.
It's more clear. You're right. I would be fucking. We'll save that debate for another week.
I have a pitchfork.
If it was, like, let's be real, man. If it was a New Day and AJ Styles versus Osmo, I would be like, no, you don't deserve to close this out.
All right, hold on, but what if Almost is really fucking amazing?
He could be, but we'll never know until that night. And at that, what happens if he goes in there and just shits the bed? And then what do we all do?
Oh my God, what if he shows up and twists? Oh my God, what if he twists his ankle climbing through the rope?
What if he trips and falls and like breaks his wrists, like getting into, like he like steps over the top rope and the rope comes up a little too soon, he just pancakes out. Like, I don't want that to happen because I want good things to happen for this match.
Oh my God, I need some wood to knock on. Hold on, wait a second. All right, here we go.
But I was like, oh man, I was like, some of these matches. You know what? Like, we haven't. It's not even a debate topic, but I just want to get you guys' opinion. So I'm gonna start to this, but then we're gonna go Chris, Lou, and then JJ. The match that you're looking forward to this year at WrestleMania, like what's the match that you want to see? And I know for me, it is Sasha versus Bianca. I'm just gonna be upfront and honest with it.
Okay, so when WrestleMania rolls around, there's always usually the match that I'm looking most forward to, and more often than not, it's not one of the main events. Not because I think the main events are really bad, but it's usually like some match lower on the card that piques my interest. That isn't a top title match. For this year, I'm really looking forward to Seth versus Cesaro because I know they're going to tear the house down, and I'm really happy that Cesaro's getting his first singles match at a WrestleMania, like his first one-on-one singles match. I personally am looking forward to that the most for that reason, just because we know Cesaro's awesome, and he's finally like that's a big moment, so I'm happy for him.
Man. Lou.
I'm looking through the card right now, really. Like I like where Justin's going with this, the whole Cesaro versus Seth, but I'm still kind of intrigued on Big E versus Apollo. That's the match I'm really
That's a great match.
That's a good choice. That's a really good choice.
I am super hyped, and I really want to like. Is it fuck? Nah, you know what? I don't even care if it's fucked up or not. I want to see Apollo win the Intercontinental title.
I don't know if I want to see that because they've been trying to give Big E a push. If he loses the Intercontinental Championship, does that mean you're going to still push him to the heavyweight title?
No.
If that's the case, then let's do it. Let's fucking do it because Big E deserves it.
But he can also win it back. If he loses it to Apollo, it's not like he can never win it back.
Right.
I get that.
And normally when I think what happens is you have, I don't know, this me just kind of booking it, and it's not like this is solid for me. I just gonna be honest. You have Edge pin Daniel Bryan, wins the title, still protects Roman. Then Daniel Bryan obviously can get his rematch at like Backlash or Payback or whatever stupid pay-per-view they're gonna have next. And then what you end up doing is you start building towards SummerSlam with Big E versus Edge, as Edge being the heel.
Good. So yeah, I like your line of thinking, Cliff, because I was thinking that Big E would get his world title shot at SummerSlam. Now, who is the champion? I was like, they could go a bunch of different directions. But I think Big E come SummerSlam will be the challenge. And if not SummerSlam, definitely Mania next
year.
Yeah.
All right, JJ, what about you?
This is kind of tough. Like, I'm stuck with like 4 matches in particular that I really want to see. The Sasha Bianca match in particular, the Apollo Big E match, because I'm interested in Apollo's character. So it intrigues me, and like, who doesn't like 2 big black sweaty men?
Jesus.
Classic meat.
Yes.
I like how you had to like put like I just put in two big men slapping me, but you're just like two big black men slapping me.
No.
Like the way you sold it, I was like, this is a category you've definitely looked up in the past.
Talk about. I know this isn't the debate topic either. But
Oh
can we
my
talk
God.
about how low-key?
Really?
Oh, hold on, how low key stacked the WrestleMania card is and became like in a 7-day period of time.
Yeah.
We're talking Seth and Cesaro, Kevin and Sammy, Biggie and Apollo, Rhea and Asuka, Sasha and Bianca, the triple threat Universal title match, the WWE title match. I mean, like the whole card except for Randy versus The Fiend, which upsets me because I love Randy Orton. But I might just leave the room for that match.
I'm intrigued about that match. I really am still intrigued.
But what's funny though,
Anthony, I just wanted to end. I wanted to end.
Thank you.
I've never wanted something so bad to come to an end.
I absolutely love what they're doing with Alexa Bliss in this thing. Like that's got me hooked. Every time she comes in with the dark eyes, the light, the dark around her eyes, the light, and what she's doing the whole games, I fucking love it.
No, don't get me wrong. I think everyone's killing their role in the story. It's just like
the story's been going on since like October.
I feel like I've grown up with this story. I feel like I was like a teenage. It's like the Fast and Furious franchise. It's like, when is enough enough? How many movies do we need? I know they're good movies, but at some point, it has to end, right?
But
it's not going to end till Dom races an alien.
Saturn's and I'm like, how does the story end? How does this end? Like, this story can't end with the Fiend pinning Randy 1, 2, 3, and then we just all move on.
No,
there's been deaths and possessions and people being burned alive and fireballs and
a crazy chick that has like telekinesis.
Crazy chicks, and we've got people like spitting up black ooze. Like, this can't end with this like 1, 2, 3. Here is your winner, the Fiend.
Oh yeah.
Hey! Like, it can't end. Like, how does this end?
In a barbed wire exploding death match
with sparklers.
You know what, Anthony? That would be the most normal thing to happen in the feud. To be honest, considering everything else that's happened, that would be the most like normal thing about it.
I want a Firefly Funhouse match with Randy Orton.
That's what I'm thinking it's going to be. I'm thinking
buried alive match.
Ooh, actually, you know what? I'm not against that though.
I was thinking that too. I'm like, you've got to like bury Randy, and he's got to disappear for like 6 months.
6 months, yeah.
The way this story is gone, he can't just like lose and then show up at like the Raw after Mania and like start his next feud. Like, it doesn't work like that. We can't go from this to like, oh, Randy's feuding with, I don't know, anybody. Ricochet. Like, you can't just segue to that. You can't just move Randy on.
Yeah, I think he got at least to like at least SummerSlam.
What do you do with the Fiend after he's done with Randy? What do you do with the Fiend? I love the Fiend. I wasn't a fan.
Feed him everybody under the roster, and then you have him. You have him.
You bring up
everybody.
A good point. I thought we were seeing the Fiend way too often. I'm like, this is a character that you just can't do stuff with. I feel like Bray should be focusing more on his like Mr. Rogers character. I think that should be the primary one that we get. And then in like extreme instances, we get the Fiend.
I still feel the Fiend character.
Universal title.
The thing is, though, is that the Fiend character's like initial run was like only attacking people that he had previous beef with, and like seeing him like to see the Fiend like randomly like go against Seth Rollins, like they're like, well, it was the Shield and the Wyatt family, but you've never mentioned the Wyatt family since Bray Wyatt had came back. So why are we also trying to force that narrative? Like,
I was like, this is a big mistake. Like, the Fiend can't win the title because then that means you have to beat him. And well, how do you beat the Fiend? Like, the Fiend, like right now, the Fiend just can't lose a match.
Right.
This man just got resurrected from being burned alive. How does he get pinned 1, 2, 3, and we move on to something else? Like, it's weird. It's like, I don't know.
They've written himself into a corner with him.
So
yeah, it's like, what do you do now?
what I was gonna say is you have these two matchups. You have two matches on both nights, right? That we're really kind of like not looking forward to, right? With Fiend and Randy Orton, right? But that's because we don't know how it's gonna have to end, right? It's gone on so long that we're kind of like, hey, I love the fact that you're able to do long-term story booking, but you're not really like it's okay. It's time to end it now. But then like on the other side, we have Shane McMahon versus Braun Strowman, and we're just like, that match doesn't need to happen. You can put that on Raw the next night.
True.
So
I can't say that I'm really looking for. I mean, I'm looking forward to Shane's Daredevil antics because those are always fun. I love seeing him hit the coast to coast and the elbow through the table. But I don't know if I feel.
I always pop like when Shane jumped off the Hell in a Cell and Sammy grabbed Kevin Owens. Like I popped for that shit.
Yeah, like I love Shane. I love Braun, but they're not the opponents I want to see for each other.
Right. I'd
rather see Shane wrestle someone else than Braun wrestle someone else.
Shawn Michaels is Mr. WrestleMania, but Shane is Mr. WrestleMania moment. Every fucking year he's in there.
True.
Yeah.
That's true.
But all right, so those are our debate topics. You just even heard us talk about like what matches we're really looking forward to. So we have to get into the greatest segment of this podcast. Let's be real. It is known as the Red Dogs Power Rankings. Dun, 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 dun. Danger zone. Danger zone. Dun, 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 dun. What, JJ, you're not going to do it with us this time because it's not your brother?
No, Lewis made me ruin my appetite for doing
Oh my
it.
God. I cannot believe
Good. Fuck
That's
you.
cool. It's cool. When your brother does it next week, if your brother comes back to the show ever and he does it and you do it, I'm calling you out. It is what it is.
Absolutely.
So let's get started with our rankings for March 28th. Of course, we have honorable mentions, so we're going to jump right into the honorable mentions. First one that we're going to give it to honorable mention number 1, Asuka versus Peyton Royce on Raw. I like the fact of seeing Peyton Royce like actually start getting some kind of like momentum kind of rolling for her a little bit. Hopefully we'll start seeing him more. Number 2, honorable mention. We're going to give it to Bronson Reed and L.A. Knight on NXT. Number 3, this was actually kind of a surprise match. This is why it's on here as an honorable mention. Tay Conti versus Nyla Rose on Dynamite. Like, big ups. Our number 4 honorable mention match is going to be Dakota Kai and Rochelle Gonzalez versus Io Shirai and Zoe Starks on NXT as well. And then our last honorable mention match, Bianca Belair versus Natalya on SmackDown. By the way, just to give you an idea too, that is the only SmackDown match on the list. I was like, even though I really liked the Rollins Nakamura match.
I was about to say, Rollins Nakamura didn't make the honorable mentions at least.
No, it didn't. And I think it's only because like it's weird because I should have put it on there at least on the honorable mention, but I just left it off. But yeah, because and to be honest, like I'm pretty sure there's gonna be some other matches in here that we could talk about that could have made it this week. So let's jump into number 10. Jordan Devlin versus Kushida on NXT makes our number 10 list. So I'm glad to see Jordan Devlin back too, by the way. Like I was just so hyped seeing, and I know he's been on NXT UK. I get it, but just seeing him on NXT, I was hyped to see. Number 9, we have Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon versus Mercedes Martinez and Aaliyah on NXT as well. Number 8, this was actually one of my favorite matches. Laredo Kid and the Lucha Bros versus Brandon Cutler and the Young Bucks on Dynamite. I just like seeing Laredo Kid. Like ever since I've been watching him on MLW, like seeing him on AEW, I've been hyped seeing him. Let's go to number 7, which this match is probably going to be kind of controversial. We'll just call it what it is. Big E versus Apollo Crews at Fastlane. I liked it. It had a funky finish. nobody could tell if it was a botch or not. So that kind of got me more hyped because I'm just like, whatever. Like, you can't tell if it was or wasn't. Like, cool. Did its job. Number 6, Karrion Kross versus Oney Lorcan at NXT. I like this a lot. I like the fact that Oney Lorcan got a lot of offense in too. This one, I can't wait. This is gonna be one. Number 5, Kenny Omega versus Matt Sydal on Dynamite. And let me be honest. I put that match on here because of the events that happened on AEW Dark Elevation 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. The segment with Booger Sugar Khan.
Yeah, it was. Let's go to number 4. So this match probably could be argued to be number 1, and I can leave that open to interpretation for you guys. But Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus at Fastlane was just a great brawl. I just loved watching it go back and forth. Number 3, Ace Austin versus TJP on Impact. I was very hyped about that match. And by the way, all these matches are in the top 4 were at one point the top match until I had to reassess. Number 2, Darby Allin versus John Silver on Dynamite.
That was a good match.
It was a great match. And then number 1, which ultimately became the match, Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan at Fastlane. So there's your list for the March 28th Power Rankings. And I'm going to be honest, WrestleMania week, we're probably going to have to do like a top 20 with 5 honorable mentions. So you'll probably see a top 25 because let's be real. Last year we did WrestleMania and we had the 2-night WrestleMania and we had and we didn't even have as many shows. Remember, we did AEW, we did SmackDown, Raw, NXT, and then WrestleMania. And this year we've included MLW, we've included Impact, and we've included NXT UK. Not to mention, randomly you'll see Game Changer Wrestling or Generation Championship Wrestling or some other show is going to appear from the indie scene. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm very nervous about the power rankings in 2 weeks because there's gonna be a lot of wrestling matches on there, and we're gonna be like, yeah, we saw this coming. 2 night NXT, 2-night WrestleMania, Impact, NXT UK, Raw, SmackDown, NWA Power is coming back. Like, oh no.
We are going to fucking overdose on wrestling content.
Yo. Not to mention, like, guys, if you guys don't know, like on TikTok, like I do the quick dives where we legitimately talk about wrestling. I looked at the review schedule for that week and I was like, oh no. I was like, I'm legitimately going to be cutting videos every day for this. So if you guys get a chance, go follow us at the 3 Count Podcast, 3 Count Pod on TikTok, and you guys can watch all that content is going to be out there. And I think I'm going to put it on my channel as well for the show. But that is the debate show. That is what we've done. We've picked out 3 topics, and actually, this has actually been kind of civil. I think, Chaz, you're not going to be allowed back on, man. Like, we've had these great conversations where, like, Chaz usually flips his shit and then, like, turns his camera off and walks off the set.
Are you saying that Chaz brings out the worst in us?
You know what, though? I think...
Is that what you're saying?
I didn't say it, but I'm not disagreeing. No.
Cliff just said, yes, things are more peaceful and civil on the show with our host not being here.
We need the controversial one back on the show, though, so that we can at least have more content to edit. But guys,
this might make your job easier.
I love that JJ like mute his mic. He's not saying anything at all. He's just like, they all said it. I didn't agree with them.
He's so mad at me.
I didn't agree with them. But guys,
hands up, don't shoot.
All right, so that is the debate show for today. I will catch you guys later. I am the Red Dog, Clifford Miller, here with Idolmaster, here with JJ, here with Lou the Franchise. We'll catch you guys next time, and be there or be somewhere else.
Hey guys, it's the host of the 3 Count, Chaz Evans here. Make sure to let you know that I don't run shit, I don't do shit, I just talk shit. And make sure you subscribe to our podcast. What else should you do? You should also follow us on all social medias. That's the Facebook at 3 Count Podcast, the Instagram at 3 Count Pod, and the Twitter at 3Count_pod. Also, if you like us a lot, you should definitely buy a t-shirt at prowrestlingtees.com/3countpod, and that's the number 3. Don't be an idiot and type in THREE, because you're not going to find anything. So make sure you follow us at 3CountPod or 3Count_pod on Twitter and buy a shirt. Be there or be somewhere else.